Into match number 4, we go now over in Serie A. That's right, with Napoli, the current champions, still leading the charge. But breathing down the necks is Juventus. Can they return to the tip of the top of the league? We'll get into that and much more next. That's right, folks, back once again with another video. Today we take a look at match number 4, that's right, over in Serie A, and we'll get to it in a second. If you're new where you've been, smash your subscribe. You want some shop for La Liga, Serie A, Bundesliga. We're going to all here under one rooski, of course, non-stop action across Europe, including Serie A. That's right, we're going to see who will be top of the chops at the end of match number 4 in just 1 second. But if you're new, hit the subscribe, and a big shout out to the members and the Patreons. You know who you are. But let's get in the deep end now. I'll recap what went on, of course, last time around in a busier week over in Italy. And this is what happened. That's right. These are the results on the screen right about now. And of course, my predictions are on the left. The real deal is on the right. So running through it from top to bottom, Cagliari did beat Parma 2-0. I went with a 1-0 win. Juventus with a 4-3 win over Inter. I went with a 1-0 win myself. Fiorentina lost to Napoli 3-1. I went with a 2-1 win. Roma lost at home to Torino 1-0 there. I went the other way. Atalanta with a 4-1 win over Lecce. I went with a 2-1. Pisa did lose to Udinese 1-0. I went with a 0-0. Sassuolo with a surprise win over Lazio. 1-0 winners on that one. I went the other way. AC Milan with the 1-0 win over Bologna. I went with the 2-0 win. Verona and Cremonese 0-0. I went with the 1-1. And Como could only draw with Genoa, if you know what I mean. That's right. Meanwhile, the table looks like this. It is Napoli. It is Juventus. Cremonese are up there into 3rd right now with Udinese in 4th. Going down, it's Lecce, it's Parma, it's Pisa. But it's early days, of course. These are the links to the old Super Brewski right here, right now. And the current situation is over in the table at the minute. Well, I'm going to showcase you that right here, right now. So stand by as we'll bring you bang up to date with the latest findings over in Italy. So who, of course, is Dominatrix? That's right, in in Serie A. Well, it is. I'll show you right now. Jumping, hopscotching, and there it is. It is Noah with 11 points out, plus alongside G. Fuke. That's right. He's up there alongside him. Ploman up there as well with 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I'm all the way down there into with a 5.5 points. We hop on over to the leaderboard. It is Jimmy Watton, it is Vindaloo Victory, and it is Zandus. Noah and G. Fuki is also up there as well. I'm not doing great. I'm down into 14th right now. So we will see. We will see how we get on with that one. So navigated that little eggplant, didn't I? So let's get into the next round of games. Of course, they are coming at you quick and fast over in Italy. That was the link. These are the games. So let's get into it as we look forward to it right here, right now. So we are looking forward to the games. They're coming at you starting this coming Friday. We're going to kick it all off with Lecce up against Cagliari. That's right, at the Via del Mare. Lecce and Eusebio Di Francesco all the way down there to 20th right now. Just the 1 point for the campaign. Back-to-back defeats for them coming into up against Cagliari with Fabio Piscani. They're up to 8th right now. 4 points for the season. Just 1 defeat in the last 6. Now, they've taken on Lecce 22 times since 1994. 6 wins Lecce, 7 wins Cagliari. There's been 9 draws. Coming into this, they last played over at Lecce. It was a 1-0 win way back in August 2024. Not draws knocking around between these two sides. 4 out of the last 6 ended up all square. Lecce are on the back of that 4-1 loss to Atalanta. Cagliari with a 2-0 win over Parma. The bookies will go with just slightly Lecce on this. I've gone with a draw myself. 0-0 right down the middle. Point apiece at this stage. Bologna, they're locking horns with Genoa on the 20th. That is this coming Saturday. The Renato Dialia. Bologna under Vincenzo Italiano. They've won 3 and they lost 3 over the last 6. They do sit 13th, though, in the table with just 3 points. Up against Genoa, Patrick Vieira's boys. They are 15th right now. 2 points for them. Just 1 defeat in the last 6 matches in all shapes and all sizes. They're taking on Bologna 32 times since 2006. 10 wins Bologna, 12 wins Genoa. There's been 10 draws between the two sides. They last played in Genoa. Actually, last time they played in Bologna. It was a 3-1 win for Genoa way back in May 2025. Genoa are actually unbeaten against Bologna over the last 4. That's 2 wins and 2 draws. Genoa are on the back of a draw, 1-1 last time around. Bologna on the back of that 1-0 loss to Milan. The bookies will find it tight. In fact, they go with Bologna quite heavily on this one. I've gone with a 2-1 win as well to, of course, Vincenzo Italiano's team there. Moving forward is Verona. They're taking on Juventus also on Saturday. Coming to the Stadio Mercato Bertigodi. Verona under Paolo Zanetti are 17th right now. 2 points for them for the season. Up against Juventus on Igor Tudor. They're, of course, perfect record. 3 wins out of 3. They've actually won 5 out of the last 5 in all shapes and all sizes. They played 31 times, these two clubs, since 1996. 4 wins Verona, 21 wins Juventus. There's been 6 draws. They last played over at Verona. It was a 3-0 win for Juventus, who did the double of Verona last season. Back-to-back wins, back-to-back clean sheets. And in fact, they're unbeaten against Verona over the last 6. Just one draw And they've actually had 5 clean sheets in the last 6. Verona, though, are on the back of a couple of goalless affairs themselves, on the back of a 0-0 scoreline. Last time around, Juventus with that 7-goal thriller over Inter most recently to put them in the prime time position. Bookies for this one will go with Juventus. They do look good right now. A lot of goals in this team right now. So I'm going to go with a 2-0 win for them to extend their points differential at the top of the table. Meanwhile, we go to Udinese. They're taking on AC Milan at the Blue Energy Stadium. Kostaronic boys are 4th right now, 7 points for the season. They're unbeaten in at least the last 6. Coming up against the Milan side under Massimiliano Allegri, sitting 5th right now with 6 points to the name. They played each other 66 times since 1993. 18 wins, Udinese, 33 wins for Milan. There's been 15 draws. They last played over at Udinese. It was a 4-0 win for Milan back in April 2025. They've actually won 3 in the bounce. Have Milan against Udinese, including back-to-back clean sheets. The hosts, though, are on the back of back-to-back away wins. Of course, Milan on the back of that 1-0 win at home to Bologna. The bookies will go with Milan. I don't think it's as simple as that myself. I think Udinese have got a bit of form going. I'm going to go with 2-2 draw. Of course, a bit of a difficult match to call at the moment. Meanwhile, Lazio taking on Roma. It's the Roma derby. It's coming at the Stadio Olimpico Mazzarino Sarri ball in 12th right now. 3 points for the season. Just 1 win in the last 3. Up against Roma under Gianpiero Casperini. They sit 6th. With 6 points right now. They played 71 times since 1993. 22 wins for Lazio, 29 wins of Roma. There's been 20 draws between the two sides. They last played when Lazio hosted this match. It was a score draw way back in April 2025. It is very tight, very even between these two over the last 6. So it's 1-2, lost 2, and drawn 2. Coming into this, though, Lazio on the back of that 1-0 loss to Sassuolo. Roma also losing last time against Torino. Looking at the fixture list here, none of them are in European action this week, so but the bookies will make it difficult as well. It's tight, slightly favouring Roma, but you've got to go with the draw, haven't we? You've got to go with the draw. Meanwhile, let's move forward to the next one. It's Torino. They're taking on Atalanta coming at you at the Stadio Olimpico Gran Torino. Of course, Torino under Marco Baroni are 10th. 4 points for the season. Up against Atalanta under Ivan Juric, they sit 7th with 5 points. They played each other 48 times since 1993. 15 wins Torino, 19 wins Atalanta. There's been 14 draws, including this last time that they played over in Atalanta. It was a 1-1 scoreline back in February 2025. They last played in Torino back in August 2024. 2-1 winners it was for Torino way back when. Torino are on the back of that 1-0 win over Roma. Atalanta with that 4-1 win over Lecce. The bookies will go with Atalanta on this one, but Atalanta are in action, taking on PSG this week in the Champions League. So, of course, I'm going to go with a 1-0 win Torino. Surprise, surprise. Upset the apple cart on that one. Let's go to Cremonese up against Parma. That's right, Cremonese under David Nicola. They are 3rd right now, 7 points for the season, just 1 defeat in the last 6. Up against Parma, the Carlos Cuesta. They sit 19th right now with just the 1 point. They're coming at you over the Stadio Giovanni Zini. They played 12 times since 1993. 3 wins for Cremonese, 6 wins for Parma. There's been 3 draws. They last played over at Cremonese. It was a 2-1 win for Parma back in October 2023. Coming at you right now, Cremonese on the back of that 0-0 scoreline against Verona. Cagliari with that 2-0 win over Parma. Parma losing last time around. The bookies will give it to Cremonese, favoured for this. I'm also going to go with them with a 1-0 win. Possibly a James Vardy goal in this one. Let's move forward to the last 3. We have Fiorentina taking on Como at the Stadio Armando Franchi. Fiorentina under Stefano Poloni are 16th right now, just a couple of draws to their name. Up against Como, Cesc Fabregas, they're in 8th right now, 4 points for the season. They played Fiorentina 5 times since 2003. 4 wins for the Fiorentina, 1 win for Como. There's been no draws. They last played over at this venue. It was a 2-0 win for Como back in February 2025. Como on the back of that draw against Genoa. Napoli did beat Fiorentina last round. The odds for this, they go slightly in favour of Fiorentina. I think I'm slightly going that way as well. 2-1 win. Fine margins at the stage between these two, who I think are pretty even Stevens in the grand scheme of things. Kicking on forward is Internazionale, taking on Sassuolo as late on Sunday as well, on the 21st of September. The Giuseppe Meazza, Inter under Christian Chiu, are 11th right now. Back-to-back defeats up against Sassuolo under Fabio Cuso. They're coming into this on the back of a win themselves. They played 23 times, these two clubs, since 2013. 11 wins at Inter, 10 wins Sassuolo. There's been 2 draws between the two sides. They last played at this venue. It was a 2-1 win for Sassuolo, who did play back in the 23-24 season. They did the double over Inter that last campaign. They're coming into on the back of a big win themselves over Lazio, and Inter losing back-to-back against Juventus. Bit of pressure maybe for Christian Chiu right now. The bookies will still fancy them. And of course, Inter are in action against Ajax in the Champions League. I'm going to go with a 3-0 win. They need to win. Will they win? We'll find out, of course. And then finally, the champions, Napoli, taking on the new boys. That's Pisa Cavenaccia at the Stadio Diarmando Maradona Stadium there. Of course, Conte's boys are tipped at the top of the table, 9 points for a possible 9. They won 6 on the spin up against Pizza and Alberto Gilardino. Back-to-back defeats for them. They've taken on Napoli 3 times since 2005 and lost every single one of them. The last time they played was actually in August 2007 in the Coppa Italia, 3-1 win as it was for Napoli, but that game did have to go to extra time. Meanwhile, moving forward, Napoli are on the back. That 3-1 win over Fiorentina Pizza. Back-to-back games now without a goal. Back-to-back home defeats as well. The last time they were on the road, they did pick up a score draw on that, so maybe a bit of a that's where all the points are going to be at. But the bookies will fancy Napoli heavily on this one. I got no odds actually on this, but they should win. I'm going comfortable with 4-0 winners. And if I'm right, this is what the table will look like. It will look like this. It'll be Napoli top of the pops with 12 points, as Juventus will as well. Cremonese keep up the heat as well in the top 3, with Udinese making it 4th for them. Going down, it's Pizza, it's Parma, it's Hellas Verona, that's right. But it is all early days still. And of course, this is the link if you want to get involved with the Super Brewski. That's right. That's it, guys. Make sure you subscribe, smash like wherever you are on the world. We'll return very, very soon for the next round of games. But until then, we are done.